The 2011 LCI Plan, the first appearance of aging in place, and an unfortunate deletion. 2010 and 2011 was a year of transition with major city construction downtown and preparations for the widening of Highway 20 that included the unfortunate removal of a critical infrastructure piece. As 2010 and 2011 rolled in, the effects of the Great Recession continued to ripple through the community. However, that didn't stop Sugar Hill from progressing on its vision for downtown. In October 2010, the city broke ground for, quote, a new Sugar Hill, unquote, as heralded in the October 2010 edition of the Sugar Hill Sentinel. The city began construction on what is now referred to as the Bowl at Sugar Hill, the amphitheater and amenity pond that was designed to serve as stormwater management for the future development of the eastern half of West Broad Street and Hillcrest Drive area of downtown. Quote, October 2010, Sugar Hill Sentinel. Breaking ground for a new Sugar Hill. September 7th marked a milestone in the development of Sugar Hill's goal of a new downtown. Our mayor, city council, and city manager joined Reeves Construction Management in a groundbreaking ceremony for the retention pond that will serve the new city hall and new developments along West Broad Street. The decorative pond will feature a walking path, bridge, fountain, an amphitheater, terraced seating, and landscaping. The pond is the first of a rapid succession of major projects to affect the new downtown. The city has released an RFP for a construction manager for the building of our 30,000 square foot city hall, and we released a RFP for the streetscape that will add wide sidewalks, period street lamps, brick accents, on-street parking, a roundabout, and a rebuilt street. Photo showing Dan Reeves, City Manager Bob Hale, Council Member Steve Edwards, Mayor Gary Perkle, City Council Members Susie Gajewski, Mark Cohen, Mike Sullivan, Eric Young from Reeves, and Council Member Curtis Northrup. End quote. Sugar Hill's growth rate from 2000 to 2010 continued at a staggering rate, growing from 11,399 residents in 2000 to 18,522 residents in 2010, a 62.5% increase. This was the third largest increase in population in a decade, trailing the 80s when the population increased 84.3%, and the 90s when the population increased 250.1%. The city declared the news in its May 2011 edition of the Sugar Hill Sentinel, noting the city had become the third largest city in Gwinnett, trailing just Lawrenceville and Duluth, and eclipsing Snellville in size. The news included a forward look to the new downtown, celebrating the reconstruction of West Broad Street in preparation for the coming developments. Quote, May 2011, Sugar Hill Sentinel. Sugar Hill becomes third largest city in county. Results from the 2010 census confirm Sugar Hill as the third largest city in Gwinnett County, behind Duluth and Lawrenceville. Previously fourth, the city switched places with Snellville. Sugar Hill has always been characterized as a rural, quiet bedroom community. As we continue to grow, we have expanded our parks, created new events, offer more recreational opportunities, increased our commercial presence with the new Kroger complex, and prepared for future expansion. Traveling on West Broad Street or visiting City Hall, you will notice the construction of the stormwater amenity pond, which will serve our eventual downtown and our new City Hall. The area will have an amphitheater with tiered seating, a walking trail, and landscaping. In preparation for our new downtown, a streetscape on West Broad Street will involve realigning the street, creating on-street parking, new sidewalks with brick accents, and period street lamps. A roundabout at Whitehead Road will calm traffic. The new City Hall will be located at Temple Drive and anchor any new development along West Broad Street. End quote. As 2011 continued, the city completed a minor update to its Livable Centers Initiative, LCI, plan for downtown. The update was not particularly groundbreaking like the 2005 initial plan and is just 12 pages in length. However, we see the first introduction of a term that is used often to describe the purpose of the development of downtown and additional housing types and options, an aging-in-place community. Aging-in-place community simply means that there are housing types that if a resident desires to live their entire life in the same community, there are housing types and options that will accommodate the season of life of that resident. In that context, the city adopted new zoning classifications to encourage senior living in downtown, along with a zoning classification for mixed-use development through more urban use provisions and design standards. Quote, Downtown Sugar Hill 2011 LCI Update, Executive Summary, highlighted portion. We have adopted zoning amendments to incorporate a senior residential development zoning overlay, which is a tool that attempts to capture elements of universal design and in turn enhance the aging in place potential of the study area. 2 additional zoning overlays are in process to facilitate appropriate mixed-use development through more urban use provisions and design standards. End quote. The city also noted the improvements to realign Church Street with Level Creek Road to, quote, improve safety and visibility for drivers and pedestrians, end quote, an upgraded crosswalk at the community center, and streetscape improvements to West Broad Street. These changes mirroring closely with the improvements currently under construction, realigning of Alton Tucker Boulevard, Level Creek Road, and West Broad Street, as well as the plan for West Broad Street 2.0. The city also indicated an unfortunate deletion from the 2005 project list, the removal of the pedestrian tunnel under Highway 20. Of other note, the plan also discussed the need for public art as well. Quote, new pedestrian tunnel under Georgia State Route 20. Element is no longer viable and should be removed from plan. DOT design for State Route 20 improvements should include adequate pedestrian facilities. Installation of public art. This type of fine-grained place-making element should be worked into the context of both designed and unplanned public spaces. Public art should tell the community's story and not be commissioned at random. While implementation of this element should not be rushed, it will be a vital component to the healthy growth and experiential quality of the downtown. Good timing to initiate this element will be after construction of City Hall, amphitheater, and streetscape is complete. A formal strategy to engage the community's leaders and encourage broad public participation should be part of the next 5-year work plan. End quote. The removal of the tunnel was a huge mistake. Highway 20 had not yet been widened, and the time to plan for the construction of the facility to grade separate pedestrians from cars going 45 plus miles per hour was prior to its construction. The city doesn't give any reasons as to why the element is no longer viable. It simply was a statement. The cost of the tunnel in the 2005 plan was estimated at $1 million, something that could have been easily accommodated through SPLOST funding or grants. Grade separation to connect the north and south sides of the city across what is a river of fast-moving vehicles is of critical importance, so much so that a pedestrian bridge to connect those two sides is under design now, with plans for the bridge to be put out for request for proposals from construction companies expected to happen later this year. That grade separation will accomplish 2 important goals, along with a host of others. First, the safety of the large number of people who desire to access downtown for walking or biking for those in the northern portion of the city will be accommodated. The southern portion of the city will be connected to the north for the future commercial development that was required with the rezoning of the property along Stanley Street. Second, it will improve the flow of vehicles on Highway 20, as pedestrian and bicyclists won't have to cross Highway 20 on foot. The activation of the pedestrian button at intersections causes the light cycle to last 2 to 3 times longer than it otherwise would. Other goals of grade separation provide a continuous safe loop for the future extensions of the Sugar Hill Greenway. The mixed-use developments to the north of Highway 20 were required to construct the Greenway through their developments, which will add some 3/4 of a mile of new Greenway to the already existing 5 miles. It's unfortunate that the tunnel was removed from the plan. However, the new pedestrian bridge will still accomplish the goal of grade separation and allowing safe, easy access across Highway 20, improving the continued expressed goals of a walkable community and decreasing the vehicular delays on Highway 20. The curious thing about the LCI update is that it didn't apparently include any public input, which is unusual, and there was no action taken on it by mayor and council, or even discussed, indicated in a review of minutes from mayor and council meetings from 2011 into early 2012. The date on the LCI update is September 2011. Why these weren't discussed and the public was not invited to provide feedback on it is curious. The only public action taken in 2011 related to this occurred in December 2011 when mayor and council adopted zoning overlays for downtown unanimously. Quote, City of Sugar Hill Council Meeting Minutes, Monday, December 12, 2011. Public hearing, downtown zoning overlays. The planning director explained that the ordinance amendments are to coincide with the downtown development currently underway. The Planning Commission and staff recommended approval with attachments. The public hearing was opened and there were no comments, so the hearing was closed. All of the changes from the work session held on December 5th are incorporated into the originals provided to the city clerk for signatures. Councilmember Cohen motioned to approve the ordinance amendments. Councilmember Sullivan seconded the motion. Approved 4-0. End quote. The entire 2011 LCI update can be downloaded at the link below. The 2010 through 2011 updates and investments showed that Sugar Hill was continuing on its journey to become a strong community, with the investments giving residents even more reasons to love where they live.